Where would you rather live? In a society that's hyperproductive but distributes the fruits of labor in an unequal manner, or a society where everyone is basically equal, but there's barely anything to pass around? The leftists in the United States of America continually cry out for equity. They try to demand redistribution of wealth so that everybody is given the same amount, that no one is left behind in any way. Could this work out? Is it conceivable? Great news, y'all. The experiment has already been run, and the answer is definitive. Examine merely one spot in the world, one historical moment. The Berlin Wall separating East Germany from West, and look at the data as to which group of people was trying to escape from which side to which. Let's really pore over the data, or we can just look at the fact that the East Germans had to put up armed guards in watchtowers to prevent its own citizens from climbing over the barbed wire wall. And they fired upon anybody who attempted. And even with that, a number of its citizens still gambled their lives in an effort to escape. You see, in communism, you're basically dictating that everyone must be equal. And you're telling the hyperproductive that for the good of society, we are going to remove the incentives for those of you wishing to outcompete the other, for whatever reason that might be. It might be wealth. It might be access to more desirable sexual partners, for the fame of it. The rationale for putting in 100-hour work weeks, a la Elon Musk, is vaporized. You're limiting competition, and thus, of course, in turn, the overall output of society, which means that you are distributing equally a far smaller pie, that even if it were to grow, if it grows at all, will be at minuscule rates compared to where the competition is incentivized. And the products are not even close to the same quality. Just take a look at the beautiful communist nations and the history of their existence. Just look at the former cars that were available in the former Eastern Bloc, that you'd be lucky if they could make it a few miles before they broke down. I lived for over half a year in former Eastern Bloc countries, and I've heard the stories of the families who didn't get their children their first pair of shoes until they were 7 years old. The fights over bread, the long lines, the hunger that existed throughout the former Eastern Bloc. And even if you never spoke to them, on the older people, you can see the agony, the frustration, the anger, the mistrust etched on their faces via the deep lines, their ill-tempered faces. They tell you the stories that their voices never will. But if you seriously today, in America, in Western Europe, still want to march and dance to the song of equity, just look at the remnants of the Berlin Wall and watch the footage of people slain trying to escape to the West. And then ask yourself which side of the wall you would rather live on. Think about it, then kindly gaze down at that beautiful screen of your capitalist-made iPhone, which gave Steve Jobs more money than he could possibly spend in 100 lifetimes, which allows you to instantly send an iMessage to all of your Antifa brothers that you won't be participating in smashing in the windows of storefronts and cars of people who you've never met in your life. Share this video, thumb it up. If you're new, subscribe, notification bell, all notifications, and be thankful that you live in a system, in a government that incentivizes production, where you as an individual are far better off than if you lived under any other economic system. Count your blessings. Be good.